Hey, how's it going guys? Nate here, and just hours ago, the Fallout 4 Automatron DLC was finally released, along with a non-disclosure agreement being lifted for all beta testers. Meaning I can finally share some of my experiences with this DLC, and I've been dying to do so, just to give my honest thoughts on it. Lucky for me, I was able to secure a beta code for the DLC, meaning I've already sunk in a good 10 to 11 hours of gameplay time into it, and I think by now I can give my honest opinions without being in that dreaded honeymoon phase, so to speak. So guys, without further ado, let's do further. Firstly, if you haven't already purchased the Season Pass, the DLC is going to set you back $10. However, if you already have purchased the Season Pass, you can start downloading the DLC as soon as you gain access to your console, which is pretty convenient. Now, Automatron offers a lot of new content. As I mentioned before, I've sunk in already 10 hours into this game, and I'm still not entirely done with everything the DLC has to offer. Some of the coolest things I found about this DLC are including, but not limited to, a new faction called the Rust Devil Raiders, which can, and oh my god, always will attack your settlements while wearing and using some of the cool new gear the DLC offers. You'll have the ability to modify almost every single robot, including Codsworth and Curry, wink wink. There will be new settlements with this DLC, new weapons and armors, including the Eyebot helmet, as well as the Tesla power armor, which does make a pretty amazing reappearance. There's an entire new quest line, or a side quest line, so to speak. And of course, you also have the ability to create and customize your very own automatronic companions, which is really what this DLC is centered upon, and I had a lot of fun with that feature. I can't stress that enough. They really outdid themselves with customization here. It was a lot more than I expected. It's more so than with guns or power armor. There's a lot to do and upgrade with your robots. You can choose from a huge variety of different things, from legs to arms to heads to paints. There's a lot of options here, and it's almost limitless. You can have your robot floating, you can have him sprinting, a lot to do here. Can't emphasize that enough. Now, despite this DLC's boisterous amount of content, there are some things that you might find disappointing that I really didn't think of when I first started playing this DLC, but I eventually found out and was very saddened when I did. These include, but are not limited to again, many of the things in the Automatron DLC, specifically certain upgrades to your robotic companions, will require investment in certain perks, particularly Robotics Expert and Blacksmith, just to name a couple. Now, this alone didn't really frustrate me. However, I really wish they would have added in new perks to kind of substitute for this, because I've gone my entire Fallout playthrough never really considering either Robotics Expert or anything really intelligence related, and I was quite taken away when I found out I would need to invest in those, especially considering I was already a very high level, so I'm really going to have to grind to get all of those new perks added in. Secondly, robots do count as companions, meaning you can only have one robot with you and no other companions if you want an automatronic friend to tag along. Furthermore, Eyebots, while they do make a reappearance, cannot be your companion, and this pissed me off to no end. Although apparently some NPCs do have them flying around near them, so hopefully that'll change in a patch or something or upon the DLC's full release, but I can't stress enough how pissed I am about Eyebots. But altogether, the gameplay Automatron offers is abundant in both quality as well as quantity, allowing you to sink in quite a few hours as you take in everything this DLC has to offer. And it would seem as though this DLC will definitely have a lasting impact in exactly how you play the game going forward. And overall, I feel as though that impact is generally a net positive one. I was really pleasantly surprised by just how much content this DLC had to offer, considering its price tag. I suppose you could say that I feel as though the content to price ratio was rather in the consumer's favor. Overall, I think by now my positions on the DLC are a bit obvious. It was definitely exceeded my expectations, and if I had to give the DLC a 1 to 10 rating, I would stack it at maybe about a 7. As mentioned before, I did encounter a few grievances here and there. But if you haven't already purchased the Season Pass, I highly recommend you give this DLC a shot. And if you have already purchased that Season Pass, I hope I provided you with some reasonable expectations. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like if you liked, dislike if you disliked, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.